Okay, let's see what we can see here. Okay, it says we are live. Wonderful. Okay, everybody. Super, you see us. Okay, so people in Facebook said they see us.
Oh,
Okay, awesome.
thank you guys for letting us
Wonderful.
know. Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to get started with today's talk, but also we have announcements on our membership drive. Lori?
Yeah, so as you probably know, we were inviting people, asking people to help us grow as a community because we are so passionate about helping people even, start to cultivate that mindset of how could I be different when I'm connected to the greatest version of myself? What would my life be different? But more importantly, or at least as importantly, right, is how is the world going to be different? How am I going to impact my house and then my street and my neighborhood and then my bigger community as the ripple effect of me showing up as my greatest self plays out into the world. So since that's such an important aspect of the work that we're doing here, we asked people to please invite people that they know that might resonate with this kind of work and with this message. So we had some really everyone, I appreciate so much, everyone that shared this information or invited anyone. Even if that person didn't sign up, we still appreciate you, number one, and we also really validate that action that you took. It's no small thing that you put yourself out there and you opened yourself to, sharing what you're working on and sharing more about the greatest you. So thank you very much to everybody. We also mentioned in the beginning of the drive that we wanted to reward those people who really took that to heart and brought in as many people as they could. So we have the incredible Eileen Belizato, who will receive a copy of the book that I'm contributing author in called Transforming Trauma. I'm going to send that out to her. And the winner of the reading with Mia Signs is none other than
Nicole Van Dyke. Yay!
Right. Yes. So Nicole, if you're watching, or we'll certainly reach out to you to get that scheduled. But please, just because the official membership drive is over, be thinking about people that you might want to offer this community to. Today, this teaching is one of the things that we're going to provide every so often, every other week in this group, but there's going to be daily offerings and inspiration and community. So please yourselves be participatory with it and continue to share it with other people who you think we could benefit.
Awesome. Love it.
So on to today's topic. Yeah, Mia?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. We're going to be consistent. We're going to be concise.
Can I let everybody know this is my favorite topic? You'd think that love would be, which it is too, but the opposite of love is my favorite. Why? Because when we heal it, it goes to love. So when we heal fear, it becomes love. That's why I love.
Isn't that interesting that fear is the opposite of love? Probably if you polled people, and say, hey, what's the opposite of fear or love? I mean, they would say hate.
Right.
But it's not true.
Right.
Actually, fear.
Isn't that brilliant? I mean, literally, when we understand it, we can move through it and get it out of our experience. Yeah. So that's why I love this.
Mia, I just saw Nicole pop in. Hi, Nicole. If you didn't hear already, you were the winner of the membership drive and the session, the reading with Mia.
Woohoo!
So not sure if you heard that. You were coming in just as we're announcing that. So awesome. We'll get with you or get with us. Yeah. So Mia, this is a topic that came up a lot in our last challenge, right? People identifying, I think one of the big reasons why I'm stuck, why I haven't created the things that I'm telling you that I want, Mia, is because I have fear. Mm-hmm. And just like you said, when we recognize it, then the opportunity to do something about it.
And sometimes, Lori, people didn't even realize that it was fear, right?
Right.
They'll say their feeling or their expression or a word, right, of an emotion, and then that's actually related to the base of fear. So it's really interesting to understand your words and where they come from and how we utilize them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So a lot of people think, well, I have to overcome my fear. I have to get rid of all my fear. right? In order to move on, in order to create, in order to be comfortable in what I'm trying to do. And we don't have to overcome it, right? We don't have to get rid of it. And there's nothing wrong with it being there. In fact, we're going to talk about the purpose that it serves. And it's okay to be fearful. But march forward. I really love to share, if I can, a quote from Martha Beck, where she says, in fact, if you really set out to pursue your heart's desires, you're pretty much guaranteed to feel a lot of fear. Fear of failure, fear of commitment, fear of competition, even fear of success. This kind of fear, the fear that accompanies desire, is something you must face, not flee, to reach your own North Star. Put your desires above your fears. Stop running and face it, whatever it is. And to me, that's just such a powerful synopsis of the work that we do to help people step boldly into their fear, right?
Can I say something else to that quote was so beautiful.
Right? Yeah.
All of a sudden, everything became clear why humanity gets into this place of this fear space. I know we've talked about words and identifying and understanding them, but literally the one that I never understood was the fear of success, right? That's one of the number one that people say, oh, it's this or the fear of success. Well, how could I be fearful of success? And it comes down to an abandonment, literally, which comes from birth, because the abandonment would be if I got it and it disappeared, that would be the end, right? So that's an abandonment. So when we understand this stuff and can break it down so clearly, it makes the illusion just pop away. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. You got to stand in it though, right? You have to understand it and stand in it. And that's why we need,
right? Unless you stand in it.
Right. And we need the practices, the processes, the support, and the guidance to be able to stand in that place and let that kind of work through us. So I always think when it comes to, the fears, really tying into that underlying base core knowing that I'm always going to be okay. Right. And I may not know how it's going to play out that I'm going to be okay, but I don't know everything. Right. If I have to see how everything is going to work out in order to be able to, step into it, then I'm never going to step into anything. Right. So there has to be this underlying trust that no matter what it is, right, I'm going to be okay. And not only that, but whatever comes up, when I am stepping out, when I'm connected to my authentic self, my greatest self, and I'm taking those actions that are aligned with that self, if something comes in that I might see as a failure or something that I'm fearful of, guess what? That thing is there for me to develop what I need to have the thing that I want. It's actually there to season me, to create me, to mold me, to be somebody that can receive the thing that I'm asking for. So I put out to the universe, or if something's on my heart, let's say I want to be an author, let's just say, and that is put on my heart. Well, guess what? That the universe has already done that for you. It's already there because it's on your heart. The universe, when it's on your heart and it's coming from your authentic place, that is for you. The universe said yes to it already, right? And it's so but you may need some experiences. Maybe you're not in a space right now to receive that thing. So the universe is also going to provide you with the experiences that you need in order to get into that space where you can receive it. And so the things that come up, the things that we're afraid of, we don't have to be afraid of. We can be like, yes, this is what I need. This, setback, this, rejection, this, whatever it is actually perfect. This is my opportunity to become what I need to, so that I can have my end goal, which, in this example being the author. Mia, what are some of your processes for being able to stand in that space of, I feel fearful, but I'm going to take steps anyway?
Yeah. Well, I believe that when we understand things, so in healing and awareness, in our growth, our emotional intelligence, we have the information, and then we also have to do the I'll call it, because for Lori's benefit, only because Lori's our somatic body worker here, that literally it's a somatic thing too. We have to feel it in our body. It has to move through us for it to come together. So understanding fear is one of my very first processes that I did with people. And it's taking what you fear most and putting it out here in front of you, like as if it's in your hand and looking at it. So remember, our fear is anywhere from 35 to 45,000 years old. They say that humanity was here, 30 to 35,000 years, but we know that Neanderthals also bred with cavemen, so which is what we're from. And so we don't know, it could even be longer. So the thing about fear is the primary is death. That's it. Because when we'd step outside of our caves, well, they didn't have pterodactyls, but a woolly mammoth, a tiger, whatever the scenario would be, would come and take us away. And so if death is not associated with it, and you're not going to die, guess what? That fear can diminish away. So if you hold out here, say you lost your job, and you hold it out here in your hand, and you can see lost job, is that going to kill you? No. What would you do? You'd start to look at everything underneath there that you need to take care of. You may need to talk to your bank if you own your home. You may need to talk to your landlord. You may need to borrow some money. You have to look at what you're doing, because if you lose your job, you're not going to lose your home. You're not going to starve to death, which is what the primary thing of fear is.
And that's going on in the subconscious. That's like playing out back here. Oh my God, we're going to die.
Yep,
and if you buy into that and just live into those feelings, you're shut down. So you can't think of those things that you just told us we have power in that moment to do.
That's right.
We're just under the bed trying to get through the
day. And then
day.
there's a more advanced step too for those who have been working with fear a long time. And that is, so I say sit with it, because normally you can't stand when you're so fearful you're going to collapse and your knees are going to shake. Can you sit with it? Lori said we have to sit with this. Well, what does that mean? We actually do have to process it, think about it, observe it without judgment, and see how it feels with us. And then we have to go to our higher place. Where is that? Is that God? Is that prana? Is that life force? What is it to you? And get to that space within yourself and sit with that fear. Is it going to kill you? No. Okay, Father, or God, or life force, or prana, or whatever you call the higher being. You ask to surrender into it and to have that love and support. This literally does change the way that we work through things. I've had, when I was dealing with medical stuff in cancer, I had the people in the cancer facility say, wow, your mental fortitude is amazing. And I'm like, well, that's because I teach this stuff. So we can look the most frightening things in the face and still not be afraid. Powerful court things, people trying to sue you, whatever your story is, right? Or even the main story that drags most of humanity down. I'm not loved by a person or by my partner. So when we look at the fears, we can move right through them, and surrender into it allows us to see a bigger scope of how we can move and grow, and it doesn't affect us the same way the next time.
Yeah. And, again, because I will always find a way to integrate this information because it's so important. If you have a sense of safety in your body from working with your nervous system, having knowledge of that and somatic work in order to create a sense of safety in your body, then you can start to use your mind. Right. But if your body is feeling so much danger, if your heart is pounding, if you're, really, if you feel those, the nervous stomach and all of those kinds of things, it's very difficult to say, it's okay, I can sit in this fear. I can turn to source in order to help me. So creating that sense of safety in the body is always going to be a first step when you're trying to sit in something that doesn't feel good.
So what would you do? Would you breathe in it? Would you breathe in it? Would you just know you're not?
It's a very, very simple practice. And, of course, we teach a lot about somatic experiencing, and we'll continue to talk about it as a means to provide that sense of safety in your body. But in this particular case, I would try to locate where am I feeling that fear? For me, it's going to be that really nervous, upset stomach. I call it sometimes like I feel like I have bats, not butterflies, but bats in my stomach. And so I'm going to try to provide a sense of safety by providing support to that area. I'm going to, with my hands, I'm going to use it. I might, kind of play around with different positioning, kind of coming from underneath the belly and just, holding it and providing that support. And that's probably something in addition to breathing that's going to help settle that. And there are many ways, and it's a big topic that we're opening up, so I don't want to get into that too much, so we can stick on fear, but just knowing, like having those tools and the understanding of how your nervous system plays into your ability to stand in those moments, to think new thoughts, to get your emotional vibration back to where it's strengthening you, is just a really important aspect of all the work that we do.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
beautiful.
So, I mean, it's also, I think, as you have your fear out here, like Mia's saying, you're not identifying with it anymore. You're not saying, I am that. I am my lost job, right? You're saying, I am strong and I am, I'm over here, right? And I'm with source, and we're looking at this thing that it has the opportunity to help me grow and see my strengths and things like that. But to also understand, we get so caught up in it, but to stand back as you're looking at it and say, oh, fear has a purpose, actually. It's not a bad thing. And I don't have to push it away and be like, I can't have any fear. This is awful. It's really about letting you know, hey, where to do your research. Where you should, if you're fearful of asking for a raise or pitching some idea to your boss, you're not just going to have the idea and then walk into his office or her office and be like, okay, here's my idea, and with nothing prepared or anything. The fear is going to motivate you, get your ducks in a row to figure out, what am I actually afraid of? Okay, how can I do the best I can? How can I do as much prep and homework to make sure that fear doesn't happen? That's awesome. We need that. If we didn't have that, we'd probably be running around doing silly things all day, right? But the point is not to let it limit us, to see its value, but not to let it be kind of the boss. And I'll just, we want to wrap up pretty soon here, but I want to share a story, and then Mia, we can close us out. But, I had a person, she's not a client, she's a person that I knew pretty closely, but she was going through a rough period in her life. Her relationship was ending of about 12 years. She was a little older at this point. She was probably close to 60. And she was a really bright woman. She had just rocked every job that she ever had. Even though she didn't graduate high school, she had created her own business and all of these things that, if from the outside looking in, you're like, wow, that's an incredible woman who, without a whole lot of resources or anything, was able to create some pretty cool things in her life. Well, as her relationship kind of rocked her world, she had a daughter who lived in another state, and she went to see the daughter. The daughter, kind of encouraged her a little bit and got her a job interview at being head of the, second in the accounting department of this big law firm. And at first she was like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable, because the person, they were trying to train someone because the head of the department was retiring. So they're like, can you come into this? Yeah, we definitely were interested. You're dynamic. You've got all the blah, blah, blah. Come in. This person's retiring within the year, and then, we'll prep you for this position. This is more money than she'd made, ever in a real job where she felt, kind of sophisticated. She felt like she was doing something that she had always wanted to do. And after a couple of days, she went to her daughter and she said, I've decided I'm not going to take the job. And the daughter was like super surprised, because she was so excited, and they were agreed, like they were celebrating. What an incredible opportunity for you, And the reason she gave was that she didn't have the wardrobe to go and do this job. It was fear. It was 100% fear. And she held herself back from it instead of being able to notice it, work through it, stand in that space, get whatever she needed, whatever with the fearful part of her. Hey, fearful part, what do you need to be able to take this forward? And so time went on a little bit. She ended up getting a job at the dollar store where she was on her feet every day. She worked there 8 years. And of course she withered away. She had no mental, there was nothing challenging. It was physically challenging, which for somebody, for her, I was just, and it was just, you know, kind of watching that, watching her just kind of fall into, you know, a total rut around, she never sought another job. And this was her last job. And, you know, this woman who had incredible gifts and talents and desire and drive, just to watch her wither because of fear that has the potential to stop us, rob us of the things that are possible for us. So we don't want that for you, right? We really want you to thrive in this space. So Mia, what is, you know, from the information that we talked about, what's the, like, here's 3 things that people can do for stepping out or stepping boldly into the space where their fear tells them not to go.
Right. Knowing what that fear specifically is and why. Writing it down and writing through it. Is it going to kill you? Is it going to bless you? Can it change your life? And how?
Yeah.
And then the last one I would say is, as you're reviewing everything, stay grounded, stay breathing, stay open to whatever possibilities there are. You can even do things like take one little tiny piece of chocolate if you want, if that grounds you while you're going through your stuff. You can rub lotion on your legs. Whatever it is that's going to keep you in your body, do that so that you can make a succinct decision and have your whole being shift, as opposed to just ideas sparking again. We want to get to the place where we can change the old pattern, take it away, and move forward.
Absolutely. Yes. So our idea for this group is to not only give you this information, but to give you the opportunity to explore it, right? Because I guarantee you, if you know, we're getting off here now, and if you go into your day and you don't do anything to integrate what we talked about today, I'm going to ask you tomorrow what this was all about. And you're going to say, you don't have to be limited by your fear. And I'm say, yeah. So how is that? How are you taking that? How is it, you know, helping your life? How is it helping your journey? And it won't be unless you do something to integrate this. And so we built this community so that people can support each other and we can support you. So please start, you know, with these teachings, the idea is that we're starting a conversation and we're offering you a platform where you can dig into a fear that you have in your life, start to look at and do the things that Mia just said, and then come to the Facebook group, post them. We're in there and we're giving comments. So we're coaching you, we're guiding you through these topics that we're bringing you. And so that is, and you're learning from everybody else who's in there posting as well. And so that's the whole point.
I have a question or a statement. I want to say 2 things very super fast. The chocolate and the rubbing of the legs. I feel like somebody's going, what the point is that? Guys, chocolate is known to shift the body to ground. When you're in your mental and you want to be in your physical, what do you need to do? You need to connect them together. You've got to do something physical. Rubbing lotion on your legs. I'm not here telling you to rub lotion on your legs because I think you have dry legs. I'm telling you to do that because it takes you out of your head and back in your body.
Yes.
So what Lori and I do are not the norm stuff. These are magic, miracle things that have been proven, literally, not by us, but by the world of people who do this stuff. It's how to shift and how to get into where you need to go.
Yeah.
That's why our groups are always so successful, is because we do know patterns and ways and things.
Yeah. Yeah. So why don't we, as we close out here, just give you one more somatic tip in addition to, you know, try them all, the chocolate, rubbing your legs, that kind of thing. Also just doing a grounding practice. And grounding is as simple as putting your feet on the floor, really feeling the support of the floor underneath you, pushing up against you, so that you are really connected with that part of your body, your feet, feeling them supported. You can feel the weight of your hips in the chair, and really just connect with your body, with those two things, your feet and your hips. And we could take it one step further by doing something called orienting. And orienting is just simply looking around and taking in your environment. And the reason why this is so important is because your nervous system is trained to take in information from your senses, your eyes in this case, and decide, am I in danger? And as you're looking around, there's no tiger here. There's no, person that's threatening or anything else. And it helps to settle my nervous system, because if I'm registering and I'm having all these fear thoughts, and I'm, that my body is all, wound up and activated, my nervous system is in a place of survival as opposed to a place where I can attach to my higher self. So these are the kinds of practices that can help us settle our body and embody our bodies, so that we can do the mental processing that we've been talking about. And it's those two things together that allow you to do work that maybe you've tried before but haven't been able to be really successful with. So these are the things you can take in, and I really hope that you guys will take advantage of the platform that we've created, the Facebook group, and post some of your ideas, post what you're afraid of, what you uncover. And then as you're working with it, post how that's going and what you're finding. And you can certainly post, help, I'm stuck. And we'd love to support you in that way, and each other as well.
Beautiful, thank you. All righty, everybody have a great week. When are we getting back together with everybody? And what's next on the agenda?
Yeah, so we are open to suggestion always, because that's how we want to serve. We've got a list of about 75 topics that we want to bring to you. So we'll be kind of cycling through those. And the next live teaching will be 2 weeks from today, because this is normally our time where we teach in our Greatest You Academy, which is the course that we have that really embodies all the principles that you need in order to step into your greatest self and overcome all the fears and design your life and all of that. So next week we're teaching in the course. If you're interested in the course, let us know. But then the following week, so that will be the 19th, the 26th, we'll be back in here for our next live teaching. So that gives you a couple of weeks to really focus on fear and make that a focal point, and be using the Facebook group for purposes of getting that support and guidance.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Lori, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.